What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to TTG Plays Nier. Welcome to some post-commentary. There's a very good reason for that. This was the very first episode that I recorded when I got my new computer. And even though I had set everything up what I thought was right, turns out I hadn't, and my microphone was set up wrong, and I used the onboard mic. Now, some of you may remember some earlier episodes. I did that with the MacBook, and it sounded pretty damn bad. It sounds even worse with this laptop because the internal fan is so loud. So couldn't be salvaged. Here I am doing it in post. The next episode will be the same, and that should be it because I actually have presets set up now. Even though the Mac and the PC use the exact same software, the actual UI is different, which is why I kind of stuffed that up. But that's all sorted out now, which is good. But anyway, we're going to the area because that's where we went last time. We have to go fight, well, the strange things over there. We got a letter from the mayor, so, you know, got to go work out what the dealio is, even though we already did it once.
I cannot fathom that village opening a mercantile. Must have truly opened their minds.
You think so? I have my doubts.
Aren't you glad to be going back home, Kaine?
That place is a shithole.
Don't be so nervous, Kaine. We'll protect you.
I got me taken care of. Worry about protecting yourself.
Ooh, the village. It's home to so many terrible little memories, isn't it, Kaine?
Shut up, shut up, shut up!
So that was Tyran, of course. He definitely plays a much bigger role in the second playthrough than he does in the first one, that is for certain.
We do not desire needless conflict. If we can continue to live with humans,
Then we can continue to live peacefully.
but that man will come. Yes, that man will come. He will kill us all. He will kill our women and children. What should we do? What can we do?
Yeah, so as I said, the second playthrough is all about recontextualizing everything, and I can't think of a better example than coming here. I know the first time we come here, you kind of get this feeling like, oh hey, I'm like slaughtering all these shades who have taken over this village, but the fact that you actually do get to hear them now, and they're just trying to live their lives, and they can't, and they're afraid of you, because they know you're going to come up, and you're going to completely fuck up everything, because that's what Nier does. And the fact that they're fearful of that, I don't know, it definitely humanizes them in a way that I think the game really needed. I wouldn't say that the game handles, you know, humanizing the shades perfectly. The fact that they've got humanish silhouettes and stuff obviously works pretty well, but then some of them are absolutely huge, which kind of makes it a little confusing. But anyway, something I did do when I came here, and this is something I'll need to do for the next set of playthroughs as well, is I bought another weapon here called Faith, so there's still 2 items I need to buy from here, but in order to get endings C and D, which I do want to do for this, you need to buy all of the weapons, so that's something I'll be doing off camera, but I did end up buying this one here, which is called the Faith. So let's have a look at it, have a look at the lore attached to it. A sword carried by the world's most loyal servant. Like that loyalty, the sword's blade is straight and true. Yeah, not the most powerful thing in the world, but it's a single hand and it's pretty quick, so not a bad weapon necessarily, but you know, here it is. Here, the reach is very short, which is what I don't like about it. I like having a longer reach on my weapons, but you know, there you go, that's a thing. Back to the spear it is. If I can remember which one it was, apparently I got confused. Sunrise, Dan, use the sunrise. Anyway, let's go talk. Oh, yeah. I realized after this, you kind of need to talk to the mayor before any of the events here will trigger. So, off to see the mayor it is. And I think he just says the same stuff as he does last time. About not ever sending a letter and that he doesn't know what you're talking about. So, really, keeping it in here was kind of a waste of time. But you know, you guys get to see the order of things, even though we've already done this once before. That's the way it is. I don't want you guys to miss anything after all. That'd be terrible. But yeah, it's really weird that you can't trigger this event before talking to the mayor. I hate those sort of like arbitrary restrictions in games when they do things like that. Like, oh yeah, you need to do this to trigger this event, even though the two things are completely unrelated. And I can understand from a narrative standpoint sometimes, but I guess that's part of that conflict between game design and narrative design, which can be pretty hard to, you know, get around sometimes. Which is unfortunate, but just part of the medium, and hopefully eventually someone finds a solid solution for that.
Oh, crap.
Look out. This
Oh,
man
yes.
is a shade.
This whole section's much easier on your second playthrough. Not that it was very hard on the first one, but definitely gets a little bit easier.
What?
I really wish I could upgrade that spear though. I was looking into where to get the parts for it, and they're really, really rare, which kind of sucks.
Mind if I join you?
But yeah, something you can do this time now is, if you remember last time, all of the humans became shades, but on this playthrough, they remain human and you can still attack them, so
Villagers are possessed.
that's something interesting that they added on the second playthrough. I don't know if it gives it any more emotional weight. I don't know that I can say that it does that, but it's certainly something interesting that they added, and I do appreciate it. That's for certain. It's also weird, like, I couldn't work this out while I was playing it, but for whatever reason, the guard break, or like the guarding that these guys work, they actually block your heavy attack easier than they block your light attack, which is really interesting, and that isn't something you see a lot in any game, really, in terms of enemy design. Although considering you can just launch them off the edge with the heavy attack anyway, it's blocking doesn't mean much if you can just throw them off the ledge. Not at all. I wish it could be like a meal and just float around. That'd make life easier. Living the easy life, buddy.
Get out of here! No! I'm not going to abandon my sister!
Kaine, who are they?
Don't believe her. This woman's a shade.
My sister! No! You people are the true monsters!
Stay back. Your sister is one of them now.
I don't care! She's my sister and I love her!
Kaine!
Stop it! Don't hurt my sister!
Madness. These people are behaving as if we are the villains.
Kaine, look out!
Kill them! Kill them now!
No! You've got to stop this! I'm trying to save you from the shades! Please, please stop!
Emil! We need to get out of here! Kaine! Kaine, get up! Hurry!
Oh, the little vixen has finally run out of steam. Is it my turn now? Are you sure about that, sunshine?
Stop this at once!
Leave us in peace!
Absolutely pandemonium with these guys. I do like the fact that they call you the monsters and they're the ones that are calling you possessed, because obviously now your second playthrough, as we've established a couple of times before, that you know, you're the one inhabiting the body of the shade, basically. But this is where I noticed, first of all the guys that you kill, they're all getting sucked into that. And I never noticed this at first, the boss of this area, which I only just learned its name is Wendy. I had no idea of that up until I was doing some research earlier, a couple of days ago. I do really think it's interesting that I was going somewhere with that and I completely forgot what it was. Oh yeah, like it doesn't like overtly tell, like even after it explains exactly what the Gestalt program is and everything, it still leaves a lot of questions unanswered about like how does it even work, how the shades get into the bodies that you have, how does the Shadow Lord relate to this? It leaves a lot of that stuff open. And I don't know if it's because they don't actually have answers to those questions, or if it's because really you're supposed to be seeing everything from Nier's side of things, and really Nier only knows what he knows. And so you only get to know what he knows. And much like in real life, you never get to know everything. Life is full of mysteries and things that don't make a whole lot of sense when you don't understand them, so I assume that that's kind of what the director was going for with that. That's what I assume. I could be wrong, of course. He could just be a terrible writer. I mean, this is where the whole shades thing doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't understand why some shades are like this guy and stupid huge. Like, at which point during the... I guess because I did have those experiments happening with humanity. That's part of it, I suppose, but... I don't know, it's still a little weird. To me, anyway. Personally. But yeah, that guy goes down much easier on his second playthrough. I'm sure you can see that in the second playthrough, with all the level ups I got in the first one, it becomes an absolute breeze.
What's that?
This beast a shade as well?
That thing sucked up the villagers.
Stop! We killed them all! I can't!
Too, like I've only just realized this now kind of, but it introduces some of the shades can do, which doesn't really come into play yet until the end of the game. There's a sequence where you're in the ballroom and all of the shades that you kill come together to form a giant pig. And I guess in a lot of ways this enemy here, this boss Wendy, is pretty much the same sort of concept where it's simply all of the shades who have been killed fusing together into one. I guess it's supposed to be like their spirits or something along those lines, and that was a terrible shot down. I don't know what that was all about, but it was awful. This boss is an absolute pushover by this point of the game. If I could upgrade my weapon to be even more of a pushover, but like I said, I can't grind out those items I need. Unfortunate. This is the way of things. It is kind of disappointing almost how much easier the bosses seem to be in the second half of the game. I find the first half of the game, there's some bosses that aren't necessarily hard, like I struggled a little bit with the cube guy and some other guys like that. But the second half's bosses definitely seem to be... They look really cool and fascinating and interesting. Like, I think this is a very interesting boss, and you don't see a lot of boss design like this in games. But they're not particularly difficult. Maybe if you play the game on higher difficulties, it actually does make a big difference. I've never actually tried, so I don't know for sure. But it definitely feels like they toned down the difficulty. And I don't know if that's part of, as I've brought up in other episodes, like the way Nier feels like a much more powerful character in the second half of the game because he's been training for 5 years, whatever it was. Or if it's just the balancing was off. Like, I'm not sure if it's one of those things or both of those things or none of those things. I would be interested to know. But yeah, it definitely feels like they didn't put as much of an emphasis on making the bosses as difficult as they did in the earlier parts of the game, that's for certain. Come on, Dan, just waiting for that opening. Here it comes. Oh, do it now.
Now, focus your magic on the beast's center.
Yeah, just a brilliant boss design though visually. Like, I absolutely love the way this thing looks. Brilliant. I do like the way the boss does this. I know I said that in the first one as well, but the way it chases you around like this, I think it's really clever, really brilliant, and it's something that no other boss really does, which makes it very different and unique. Even though I complained about how easy the later bosses are, I will say I love how unique and different every boss is. There's no real, aside from having to play through the game multiple times, there's no real bosses that feel like repeats or anything like that. They're all very, very distinctive, both visually and in terms of attack patterns and just all that stuff, and I love that side of it. No doubt.
You should be able to attack from behind.
And I do wonder if that stuff's going to carry over into the, or how that stuff's going to carry over into the new one, Nier Automata, the Platinum are making. Because all we've seen so far are robots, and I will be talking about those robots actually at the end of the second playthrough here, which after this episode is probably worth saying. It should be about 3 more episodes, which will be Ending B. And then the 2 episodes after that will be Ending C and Ending D individually. They will not have any of this playthrough stuff. They will just be the 2 different endings. Or the final fight. So that's something. But yes, at the end of this particular playthrough, I will go into my Nier Automata details, theories. My theories based off what I've seen visually and what happens at the end of Ending B in this. Because I'm very, very curious to see how the next game will tie into this world, if it doesn't, in fact at all. Because I know that the director has said there will be some characters who will not return from this game, but make cameos, and he did say that Emil for sure will return. And yeah, I have my reasons for thinking that there's that Emil, or the existence of Emil, if not the character himself, will be a massive part of the next game in the series. Which makes me crazy happy that it's coming out, because this game didn't sell very well, and it didn't review very well, but I guess it just got a big enough cult following for it to get that sequel, and the fact that Square are willing to get Platinum to do it, and I don't think Platinum would be cheap, is even more exciting to me, so that's really cool. And he is so close to being dead, I can almost taste it. Shooting out that magic eye laser like no one's business. Have some spears to your eye, son. And how quick did he move there? That's ridiculous. That wasn't fair. Those should have hit, I think. That was literally like it rotated around his entire body in a couple of frames, which is a load of bullshit. Anyway. This is pretty much it for this boss. A couple more hits in the eye, and there we go.
Emil, wait! He's gone. His instincts have taken hold. The ultimate weapon is being deployed.
This ain't good, sunshine.
I killed innocent people. I killed them all.
But you saved our lives. Didn't you? If it wasn't for you, we'd all be dead. We owe you. It's all right. Don't look back.
I do really love that touching little moment there with Emil when he realizes that he's a mass murderer. I mean, pretty hard concept for a kid to deal with. And pretty much that's it for this episode. The next episode I go to, first of all, the junkyard, and we do the first half of that, and then we go to Facade and we deal with the wolves, which is, both of those have some massive additional stuff when compared to the first time you played through, so they're quite big. I don't think the episode will be quite big, so much will be getting cut out, obviously, because I don't want to repeat a lot of the stuff that was in the first playthrough, but regardless, big episode, big things in it. So I hope you'll join me for that, and thank you again. Sorry for this being done post, but as I said, I kind of messed up some stuff with those 2 episodes. Hopefully it won't happen again, because I've got my presets set up now. But yeah, that's it. Thank you again for watching, and I will catch you next time. Peace out, and have a good one.